Hi, this is Marlene Dinarius here from Latinum, and you can find Latinum at Patreon. And in this video, we're going to look at the word determine, meaning terminate by a decision. This is a legal meaning. Disceptare aliquid. Decernere aliquid, or decernere de re. Diudicare aliquid. Judicare aliquid, or judicare de re. Decidere aliquid, or decidere de re. Affermare de re. Pronuntiare. Constituere de re. All of these meaning to determine, as in to end something by means of a decision. You determine the question by answering it. To determine a dispute. Controversiam disceptare. Controversiam decernere. Or controversiam diudicare. Also, all these three, by means of ferro, by means of the sword, literally by the iron. De controversia decidere, de controversia statuere, de controversia constituere. To determine, to decide a question, questionem solvere, a doubtful point. Rem dubiam decernere. To determine a cause, that's a legal case. Diudicare litem. In favor of the accused. Secundum reum litem dare, or secundum reum litem judicare. As opposed to contra reum dare litem, to determine it against him. Points that are not to be determined by mere opinions. Res ab opinionis arbitrio se junctae. To refuse to determine a point. Integrum relinquere aliquid, or in judicatum relinquere aliquid, or in medio relinquere aliquid. A point that is not yet determined, res integra. This point is not yet determined in law. Ad hoc sub judice lis est. This is useful if somebody wants to discuss something with you that you do not wish to discuss. You can just say it's, in the English pronunciation, sub judice, and you are not allowed to talk about it because it's being talked about in a court somewhere. Ad hoc da hac re apud judicem lis est. His fate is not yet determined. Non habet exploratam rationem salutis suae. That is no easy point to determine. Magna est ista diudicatio. Whether this is so, etc., is not yet determined. Sit, ne, hoc et caetera quaestio est. A single battle will determine the fate of the Commonwealth. In uno praelio, omnis fortuna rei publicae disceptat. The question is already determined. Res non integra est. Res non integrum est. To settle or to fix, statuere, constituere. Fix, constituere, if the subject or object is a multitude. Destinare, to form a decided resolution about anything by which the matter is set at rest. Exempli gratia, diem necis. Tempus et locum ad aliquid. Designare means to mark out. For example, designare locum sepulchro. Constituere et designare. Finire, definire, to mark out the limits. Also ascertain the limits of anything. Finire modum, finire locum, finire diem, finire tempus, or finire latitudinem silvae, all of these relating to the forest. Definire tempus ad eundi, to determine the day. Diem statuere, diem constituere, diem dicere. Beforehand, to determine it beforehand. Diem praestituere, diem praefinire, to determine the time. Tempus dicere, tempus destinare, to determine the time and place. Tempus et locum condicere, that is by agreement together. To determine the bounds of the empire. Terminare fines imperii, to determine the question, i.e. settle what it is. Limitare questionem, to limit or confine. Finire, definire, terminare, determinare. Determinare seldom found in Cicero. Continere, circumscribere, limitare. To determine our view. Aspectum nostrum definire. To give a direction toward any object. To influence the will towards it. Adducere aliquem ad aliquid. Commovere aliquem ad aliquid. Incitare aliquem ad aliquid, or concitare aliquem ad aliquid. Resolve to do anything. Statuere. Constituere. Decernere. Destinare, obstinare, for example, obstinare animo, or obstinare animis, if there are several. Aliqui destinatum in animo est, for example, aliqui destinatum in animo est aliquid facere. Consilium capere, with the genitive of the gerund. Inducere animum, or in animum, with the infinitive, or with ut. I am determined, in other words, I am resolved, I have made up my mind. Certum st mihi, stat mihi sententia, statutum habeo cum animo et deliberatum. To be determined to die. Ad mortem obstinatum esse. So that's the end of that dictionary entry, determined from Riddle and Arnold's copious and critical English to Latin dictionary. It's a wonderful dictionary, composed towards the end of the 1700s and published in the very early 1800s. You can find my material at the Latinum Institute at Patreon. Bye.